challenged me and I couldn't do it.
Well, that's the biggest thing you mentioned is the arrows. Oh, we have magic cape right in Link's house. And then also the dungeon keys being in the main pool is going to be another huge difference, and we'll talk a lot more about that.
Yeah, keys being universal and you can purchase keys. Between being able to purchase keys, the logic accounting for always being able to have the keys that you need, and arrows costing rupees means money is so much more important in retro mode.
That's right. And both players looks like getting some bombs. oneup actually gets the 25% chance of 2 bombs there under the hidden grove, and Osse gets lucky with the triple.
Absolutely. So Osse looks like he's starting out in the Uncle locations. Going to check these out. Hey, that big 20 is going to be worth something. oneup is taking the more traditional route over to Kakariko. oneup saw something in that maze that I did not see what it was. So he's going for it. Osse found the mirror from the Uncle. We have a vain Uncle tonight.
And the Red Dragon Sanctuary. A lot of unique items so far.
Oh, okay. Lift upgrade. Yeah, that's slightly important.
Yeah, we're going to need that.
Absolutely. It's curious, you know, in every retro mode seed that I've played, I always start off with a Houlihan room just because of how important rupees end up being to you across the board. No Houlihan starts, so I'm a little bit surprised about that.
Yeah, I'm very surprised about that. One of the races that I got to see oneup do in preparation for this, the very first thing that they did was a Houlihan room, so I thought for sure we would see that today.
So oneup also just showed us one of the other interesting variations is there are random rooms that are not used for anything else in normal mode that will give you either a heart container or let me see, we call them take any caves. You'll either get a heart container or a blue potion refill. So in this case, it's really possible to get more than 20 hearts, but you will never get more than 20 hearts. We'll see our runners check some of these one-off locations that normally in Randomizer aren't really worth a whole lot, but we might see them check that out here. Bush Crab also giving out big 20s, so I mean they're not hurting for rupees right off out of the gate. oneup is looking to farm up a couple more bombs as he's going through Kakariko here. And we have our first sword just, you know, lying on the forest floor, not unlike the rest of the junk swords that are there.
Kind of reminds me of Secret of Mana a little bit.
Just swords and trees sitting around. Okay. And a Moon Pearl. We're just getting... Oh my goodness. So we already have the Moon Pearl. We already have a lift upgrade. We have a mirror. We're just getting all sorts of unique items this early. I'm not used to being this stacked right out of the gate.
Yeah, those trackers are getting full of color.
Absolutely. So Osse is making his way over to Kakariko, which is, of course, where just about everything is, but checking some more of these locations that we don't normally get to see in a randomizer. oneup is the only one who found an extra heart container, though, so I will see if Osse ends up checking that particular location as well. I believe it was at the Arrow game in the Light World location.
Yeah, I believe so.
Well, and chat say we're going to Dark World early. Maybe, maybe not. Because we still don't really have... We have 2 of our 3. We have... You know, we have a lift upgrade and we have the Moon Pearl, but we still need our 3rd item, either another lift upgrade or the hammer. So let's not get ahead of ourselves too quickly.
And we do have that magic cape, which could lead us the other way. So.
Absolutely. You know, Aghanim could still very well be required. Now, keep in mind, you'll need to burn 2 keys to get through there because well, I guess the keys are still guaranteed in that sense, so you're safe there.
On a somewhat related note, I did notice earlier on Lumberjack Cape, we actually had one of those keys on that ledge. And oneup finds another one here.
Yep. note, because the keys are universal, it's very similar to almost a key sanity, where the keys are just kind of out there in the world. Good luck. Deal with it.
That's right. But unlike Key Sanity, in which the keys are actually, very specific to the dungeon in which they belong, they're open, so you kind of have to think about how many locked doors are in the dungeon that you want to go to, kind of see if you can afford to do it or not.
And yeah, because Osse is the higher seed, this was his choice. Osse was ranked 30th. oneup is 69th. He is a higher seed, so Osse did indeed pick this. That's how this tournament is going to go. You have 3 matches. First one, the higher seed picks. Second one, the lower seed picks. And the third, it is randomized with 1 veto option from each player.
We've got to get the randomized one in there, right? Like it's just in our blood.
Yeah, it's rando. Rando's going to rando. Rando's always going to rando.
Yeah.
One thing I neglected to mention from the Take Any Caves, there are 4 of them that will have, the choice between the heart container and the potion refill. That oneup did find one. However, there's also another one somewhere that will have a sword upgrade, and because of that, one of the sword upgrades has been taken out of the item pool within the game itself. So if all you do is open treasure chests, the most you're guaranteed to get is Tempered Sword. Period. Full stop. In order to increase your chances of better weaponry, you absolutely want to check those one-off cave locations.
Well, that's really interesting. I didn't know that.
The more you know, as a rainbow comes across the field, which is fitting because we have Tingle as one of our sprites.
I wish I could sing the jingle, but it's not loud.
Yeah, I know. It's okay. We put it in everyone's head. It's there.
Yeah, they're all hearing it for sure.
All right, so oneup. Looks like he's going over here. He's going to, I imagine, yeah, he's going to be checking the back end here of the escape sequence. Has the bombs to do it. Already cleared out Kakariko. Osse, we'll see what he opts to do. I think he's going to be doing something very similar. The only thing that Osse has done that oneup hasn't done is that first part of the Uncle escape sequence, although that mirror is very helpful, and there's some value back there.
That's right.
Ice rod and a shovel in terms of the fetch quest. So yeah, oneup looks like he's probably going to be turning that in here directly.
By the way, I love the strat of starting in Sanctuary and then immediately getting the mirror out to warp to the door.
Hey, save the frames, man. It's all about speedrun strats.
Absolutely.
And just a reminder for anyone, if you not noticed, oh, mushroom fetch quest into fetch quest. Oh,
very fitting.
Reminder to everyone if you're viewing anything on the ALTTPR channels, you can use !mode to get a quick breakdown of what the mode is and some explanations for that in case you don't know the little symbols at the top of the race at this point. Just in case you want to know at any point in time, just use that mode command and you're set. oneup does not have the mirror, so he can't kind of use the quick, and that's fitting.
That's another fitting one.
The flippers are already wet. They are drowned flippers. They did not work very well for someone.
One pair of flippers, gently used.
All right, so now we come to the new hype cave, Mini Moldorm Cave, which has seemed to have quite a bit of stuff. And let's not forget the sheer plethora of rupees that we're going to be getting because all the arrows are replaced with rupees. are absolutely worthwhile in this. Well, except for the single rupee. Money, 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 bombs. Okay, so
Yeah, if we were giving this a hype cave rating, that would probably be a 1 or a 2.
yeah, 1. I can't even really call it a Jerry Maguire cave. Show me the money, because there wasn't like there wasn't a 50 or a hundo. No, it's just, you know.
Yeah, show me some money.
So Osse is going to go up here, check what is in the hobo, which is in logic since we do have the flippers. It's worth noting, remember, because rupees are so much more valuable in that they are your ammunition and you have to buy keys from time to time, it really puts makes you think twice about going to pay Zora those 500 rupees. And the hobo, it does have value in the fire rod.
So we have both rods located at this point. Which, by the way, we have not seen a map check yet, have we?
No, we haven't. Oh, single rupee over an ice rod cave. I imagine that's where Osse is going to be go. No, he's not. He is avoiding that for now. And yeah, retro mode, it's the new hotness. I think I honestly have more fun with retro than I do in a lot of different things.
Yeah, one other thing I think is pretty unusual. Oh, and was that Bombos there? Oh,
Yep.
Quake. Okay, we have Quake there in the waterfall pushing. One thing about retro that in relation to those arrows is that we're going to have to actually buy those arrows before we're able to use them even the first time.
Absolutely. We saw Osse there go and see just a big 20 on the ledge, and he's nowhere near ready to commit to spending the kind of money it takes for that Zora item. We'll see. It looks like he's going up here and is committing himself to the escape sequence. Now, we've already seen Uncle. He's going to probably get into the bottom half of it. With that mirror, it's going to be super easy for him to just exit out once he's done. He does have 2 keys, so if he really wants to, he can go into the back end of... oh, he's going to start in the back end of escape, even though he doesn't have a lamp.
Escape. Obviously, from an execution standpoint, not concerned about that at all, but it is just one chest that's down here, so it's kind of a little bit of a gamble, I think.
True, but it's not a huge time commitment because you can just mirror out. And if you know it, and I think that's something that a lot of players almost metagame, is if you're a higher ranked player and you're facing a lower ranked player, doing these maybe more difficult sequence breaks, because dark rooms are not for every player. You might do that and be like, hey, if I get something out of the sequence break, then I know I'm ahead.
Yeah, that's a fair point. And being that we picked that item up in a dark room, it's actually a little unclear as to what it might have been.
Well, didn't seem like much because Osse is taking off and going back there. I mean, it didn't affect his routing in any capacity. Now, this is one of the nice things to keep in mind. Oh, it looks like it was a key because he has 3 keys right now instead of the 2 that he started out with.
Okay.
Yeah, and the big things, I mean, key management and money management are going to be huge. OneUp, just, hey, turning the mushroom, got a big 20. That's not bad. I mean, if you think about it, because in retro mode, arrows, once you get the wooden arrows, it will cost you 10 rupees to fire a shot. If you ever have the silvers, even though they're the best weapon, man, that's 50 arrows a shot, or 50 rupees a shot. So Ganon himself, if you're going to kill him, will cost 200 rupees if you're using silver arrows. So every rupee counts, man.
Yeah, especially when it comes to speed, because both of these players can do it without silvers, but the more money you have at the end of the seed, as long as you found silvers, the faster it's going to be for you.
$50 arrows per shot. Yeah, yeah. Thanks, Plague One. Thanks for just rubbing my nose in that one. I appreciate you.
I didn't even notice. I was with you.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so Ose looks like he's going to come up here and at least check out to see what's in these at least in this treasure chest. I don't know if I would commit to going in here until I had the lamp, because this is locked logically behind the lamp. We still do not have Dark World access, which is we were talking about much earlier.
Yeah, I would have thought we might have found a hammer or lift upgrade by now, but still looking around for that.
Well,
and I think Ose doing this goes along with what you were saying earlier. It's a big ask to learn these Agate Arc runes, and if he knows them, then that could be an advantage.
Hey, 300 rupees, that's like 3 keys right there. All right, so oneup coming over here, and more rupees. We're quickly running out of locations that are in logic. Here's something to keep in mind, though. Zora location is technically unlocked. It may hold our progression this early. It's like, here, your progression means you can't do anything else with any keys.
Man, that's rough. Both still have a hula-hand room they can do, but that's only getting part of the way there.
Well, and Houlihan is kind of an interesting setup. Yeah, Ose looks like he left out of that nightmare. Keep in mind, Houlihan, the primary setup requires not having the flippers, and we have the flippers now. Now, there is a way to kind of bomb yourself into a drop location which can do that, but that's a less common setup for Houlihan. Ose checking out some of these more one-off locations as well. I think he's going to have to commit to go over here to what oneup is doing. Also checking the shops, which we have not seen. There's our wooden arrows. And why not buy a key as well?
Not a bad idea. So we have the arrows, but as is traditional, we still need to find that bow in order to make that worth anything. But that is one part of the equation that Ose is not going to have to worry about anymore.
Oh, and the hint tile tells us that the compass and the Swamp Palace big key are in the left side of swamp. And Ose, or oneup, just finding a big 20 in the last chest in Eastern. I think, if I'm reading everything right, I think Zora or Agina has to have our next progression, because we've checked every place else that we possibly can check up to this point in time and not found our progression.
Do we have one more item in Eastern here?
Yes, but it's past a dark room, which...
Oh, true.
So it is not within logic.
It is the magic powder, though, which is an interesting find for right there.
Yeah, I'm gonna quote a movie that I use. It's nice, not
nice.
thrilling, but nice. So now we're going to see kind of a flip here. Ose is going to go check the Eastern while oneup is doing the escape sequence. So that's going to give oneup the mirror and a nice little adventure into the basement over here. But yeah, I mean, the two locations that I got to think we'll check Agina before we go up and make the commitment to Zora. Because, man, that's 500 rupees. Rupees are important, man.
Yeah.
Yes, Robin Hood. Again, the summary explanation of retro mode is there are no arrows. You fire rupees effectively. Wooden arrows cost 10, silver arrows cost 50, and keys are universal. So you can buy keys even in some shops. And because Ose is the higher seed, he was the one who decided on this particular mode to subject both he and oneup to. It is one of those, it's lesser played in the community, and as chat pointed out earlier, it's mostly combined with something like Randomizer, which is more niche in the community. So just doing a normal retro mode is not something that a lot of people who play a ton are used to. So if Osse has a lot of practice, this definitely will play to his advantage.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's a very interesting point too. And you haven't seen a lot of Ganon matches so far. Really, there's been a lot of all dungeons and other types of game modes and things like that. But other than the retro portion of this match, it's pretty straightforward. It's very recognizable, so it could almost kind of lull you into a false sense of security.
Absolutely. Until you try to fire your bow and you realize you're out of money.
Whoops.
That's the thing that happens. Don't do yourself a favor. Don't use your silver arrows on Vitreous. You're gonna have a bad time.
It's expensive.
Yeah, that's Link making it rain in all the wrong ways. Yeah, the Take Any caves are interesting because there are 5 total. 4 of them could possibly contain, a heart container or a bottle refill, which is fine. But man, the opportunity to get an extra sword upgrade early on for that one-off location, I'm not entirely even sure how many locations could possibly contain Take Any cave, so I haven't done the math and the percentages. But man, that opportunity for an extra sword, especially counting on there's only going to be 3 of them out there normally, how many of us are just like, get to Tempered Sword and we're fine, and we never see a Butter Sword because we just kind of skip it?
Yeah, it's kind of like, normally there's, as long as you get 3 out of 4, you're good. You can even get 2 out of 4. With this one, you kind of need all 3, and you would have to deal with 2 out of 3. Yeah, it's an attractive play for a lot of us, I think. By the way, how did you like that sprite for the ball and chain guard when Quake was used on it? That was not something you get to see very often.
No, it's not. I mean, I think that's in vanilla, though. So I used it a lot when I was a kid and I didn't want to do anything. But yeah. Oh, oneup doesn't have a small key to get through.
Oh, no.
Well, I think he's just trying to get this treasure chest, is what I think he's trying to do. And yeah, it's another big 20.
Doesn't seem to realize, though.
Yeah, no. Yeah. And the lights go out just before he's like, wait, I'm hitting it. I'm totally hitting it, right?
Yeah. Oh, that could have been so much worse, though. That really wasn't too bad for the time loss, so.
No. Oh, and looks like a sanctuary heart from the old man on the mountain. So he's giving you the right kind of love today. Still, I mean, this is a sequence break for Osse. He's going around it, and I think, especially at this point in time, I'd want to stick to what's in sequence. I mean, there's not much.
Because it's like hammer or lift upgrade is going to be in logic somewhere for you, but maybe you're hoping you can sequence break and find the other one. Oh, here we have our first Dark World map check. Looks like green pendant on Pod, red pendant in Skull Woods, and red crystal in Thieves Town.
Yeah, looks like the other one was in Tower of Hera, so it's right here. He can go ahead and do it if he wants to. Again, this is a sequence break. oneup is checking other locations. He is also looking like going over here to check Agina's cave, which is one of 2 locations left. It's here or Zora. Yeah, the Zora Mafia is just absolutely painful in this mode because 500 roops is like, man, that's 5 keys.
Yeah. Well, Teja, let me ask you a question. When you play retro, do you feel like you ever get to a point where you feel comfortable about your key count and you're not quite as worried about it anymore, or is it kind of always on your mind?
I do, and then I go to Pod, and then I don't feel comfortable about my key count anymore.
That makes sense.
I mean, let's just be realistic about that.
Yeah, there are a lot of locked doors in Pod, so it's going to take a lot of keys.
How does the logic work in terms of keys? Yeah, very carefully.
It just works.
Yeah, I mean, keep in mind, because keys are universal, they're mixed up into the world. So have a lot of keys. And the thing is, because you can farm up rupees, the logic will always indicate, well, I can get through this door. Like you're never restricted based on not having a small key, because you can always have a small key.
Yeah, I do see the question though. After looking at chat, you were wondering if it can actually affect the logic, and since you can buy them, it actually will not, I believe.
Exactly, and that is kind of convoluted logic, but I mean, it makes sense. And here, it looks like we didn't have anything from Agina, so logically, we have to go to the Mafia to pick up our item. What is Zora gonna have for us? Oh man, I'm. You know what? If I'm playing retro mode, this particular seed, this is worse than having to do Aghanim. Like, I am super salty if my progression is locked behind here.
Yeah, oneup is about to have probably 15 rupees. Oh my gosh.
Hammer. I mean, that's our Dark World access, so great for oneup. Osse wanted to avoid that shakedown attempt, but man, you're gonna have to do that one.
Well, as far as progression being on Zora, I have to say, Vitasia, you hit the nail right on the head.
Wah, 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 wah. I mean, that's good. Okay, I'm chuckling myself the more I think about that one. Okay, so oneup is starting out, and he's going right to the Dark World, which makes sense. Looks like he's going to be starting out over here in the west side in the Village of Outcast and Thieves Town area, which makes sense because there's not a whole lot of keys that are required. You can pick up some extra keys as you're going through here, in fact, especially in Skull Woods, because there's so many keys that are available in Skull Woods under pots and things like that. You can clear it out if you're comfortable with fighter sword strats on Mothula, which, ooh.
No, thank you. I gotta give props to Osse for fighting Mothula like a matador just now with that red cape. Going invisible so that they don't get knocked off the cliff actually looked really good. Very well done.
Yeah, the problem that we're running into with Osse, unfortunately, is that he made the play, he made the gamble that he was going to be able to bypass progression, but there's been nothing up here to kind of lead him around. A unique item is in the Lost Woods. Oh,
Thank
wait.
you.
Wait, we already, yeah, we got that. Thanks. Yes, Michael K. Fighter strats, because not everyone is good, hammering a moth. I have many broken windows at home that will tell you hammers on moths are not the most ideal method.
It will get the job done. It's just not ideal. We have a death on one outside here.
I think that was a death warp. He was
okay.
Yeah, warping out so he didn't have to go through here. So
I like doing that.
Osse reading the writing on the wall and says, fine, I'm being extorted.
Good thing too.
And we see oneup. Yeah, he's going back here. He's gonna take on the moth. He's got the hardware able to go through here. Magic is going to be a little bit of a concern. He's going to want to get as many of the magic refills, and even then, he's going to have to commit to keeping them open. Osse gets his hammer.
Yeah, yeah, he's not gonna do that right now. Just get that item there.
And oneup says, you know, I think I'm good. I'm not really wanting to fight Mothula right now.
As much as I would have really loved to see that, I can't say I don't understand, or I totally understand why you wouldn't want to do it.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. And I think that is something that a lot of... I don't know how new oneup is to the scene. I've been around for about a year now, and one of the most difficult things I had to learn is what I was comfortable with, and not trying to do what Andy does, for example. I know that maybe it's a bad idea for you not to waste time on doing something like that.
Absolutely.
50 rupees, a key, and a bee in a bottle in the cave, formerly known as Hype Cave. That's, you know what? That's pretty hype. I mean, it's not great hype, but getting a key plus enough money to get another key, or half another key.
I'd probably give it like a 4.
Yeah. 4 is 4 pending what is on Sick Kid. If Sick Kid, because that's our first bottle, if Sick Kid gives us something worthwhile, then that can be amended.
Yeah, but I don't think that retroactively changes the hype, because Hype Cave's all about, like, does it get you hyped up in the moment, you know? At least to me.
Well, my heart's slightly aflutter. I really want to know. Alright, so oneup is going to be showing us here what's up here on Bumper Ledge. Just 50 roops, looks like. Osse is going to be showing us exactly what's up here from Stumpy.
It's just a small key.
Hey, just a small key. It's hard for me to say just a small key in retro mode.
That's fair. I didn't mean to make it sound so dismissive.
Alright, so runners are almost converging here. Osse is not going to be able to get through quite, but he's doing the south route, which is a very traditional route for the first time you get here. Going to be checking, Arrow Shop and others. Wait, he's actually playing?
Hoping to get some more money.
Yeah, I mean, looks like.
This owns.
I mean, yeah, might as well farm up some money here. Okay, yeah, I get it.
What do you like it? Do you like this play?
I mean, I don't dislike it.
I love that. I just like to see some new stuff every now and then, so I just thought it was really cool to see someone go in there and play that game. But you can't deny, I mean, they made a nice amount of money just now.
Yeah, that was some quick money there. Digging game immediately 2 big 20s as well. Gambella, welcome to retro mode. This is the new. I'm not going to call it the new hotness because it's been around for a little bit, but it's a mode where you don't get arrows. You spend rupees every time you fire a shot. You have to buy your wooden arrows as an item. All the keys are universal, just like in Zelda 1, so they translate across it, and you can buy extra keys in a couple shops, but you really need to worry about money management because of all the rupees that it costs you for keys and arrows.
Yeah, the idea was to try to implement something that harkened back a little bit more to the original Legend of Zelda days, where that was kind of how arrows and keys worked back then.
Now, not to mention the Take Any caves, which are 5 random caves, just single entrance caves with nothing extra into them. You can go in, and 4 of them will, they're kind of randomized, random houses or anything like that, like you need in an entrance randomizer. 4 of them will have a choice, either a blue heart refill or a full heart container to be added. The 5th one will give you a sword upgrade. So there is one sword upgrade that is removed from the item pool.
We still have not found that yet.
No, and the runners have been checking periodically. I wouldn't say they've gone out of their way to check any of those, take any cave locations, but they absolutely have checked it when they've come across it. And oh, 1UP!
Ooh.
And hey, there's another 50 from the sick kid. So yeah, we'll stick with 4 to 10.
4. Yeah. There was also 300 rupees in big game, which is kind of funny that it came right after playing the that arrow game.
Yeah, Osse is stacked for cash right now. Even after spending 500 rupees in Zora.
Yeah, post Zora. Yeah.
Yeah, retro's all the craze, guys. Get in on it.
The bee's knees.
Okay, let's
Taking it too far.
Ever,
Sorry.
Yeah, let's
Sorry.
never say that, please. Okay, so 1UP is coming back to get some revenge on these crickets.
Yeah, slash them up real good. Or just avoid them. That's honestly better.
Dancing cricket stance. I like it. So Osse is now over here in Skull Woods. Meanwhile, 1UP is finishing up, getting through this back half of Thieves Town. He does have enough keys to be able to get the item, but man, you gotta weigh and measure, because that's spending a key for only one item location. Do you do it? Do you do it?
Nope.
I mean, you're not. I wouldn't myself. This is a one-off location. I value those keys, but it's also a lot of time, and it looks like 1UP's going to go ahead and spend that. And it was for a compass. Oh, feels bad, man. So there on Osse's side, you just saw the shop where you can buy keys and buy your wooden arrows. So you do have your wooden arrows are another item you have to buy from a shop. You're just not given arrows to use with your bow.
That's right. You have to buy them that first time initially, and then paired with the bow, you'll be able to shoot for 10 rupees per after that. Osse is really stocking up on keys right here. Do you think we've got Pod maybe in the near future?
8 keys. I mean, it's a logical play. You've got the hammer, and there's a ton of keys that are needed in Pod. I wouldn't doubt it. He had the money to do it, and he's not going to be spending any money on arrows anytime soon because he doesn't have the bow. So I gotta think he was. I mean, 1, you just want to do it while it's there and you have the opportunity, but 2, might as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's 5 items.
Osse taken down blind and is rewarded with the big 20. So he did find Bombos down there. So I don't want to undersell what he ended up finding, but not any significant progression that he was probably hoping to find.
Yeah, and we do have crystals on Ice Palace, Misery Mire, and Turtle Rock.
And lamp. He did find the lamp in here as well. Okay, so that's...
Must have been watching Osse when he picked that up.
Yeah, and it you know, you just have to think of every small key that you possibly pass by in a dungeon, because the keys that an enemy drops and are under pots and skulls and things like that are not removed. So you got to get every single one of those, because that's 100 rupees you're just sitting there letting go.
Yeah, that makes key stealing in desert a lot more attractive. Signal C asks, what is key stealing? So key stealing in kind of a normal open game is when, so normally Desert Palace has one key and it may or may not be on top of that torch, which would require you to have boots. So if you kind of assume that it's going to be on the torch, you can go to the back of Desert Palace and take a key from under the pot, which, as Atasia said, that's going to stay here in retro mode. That key will always be there, which is really valuable. And you could use that key to sequence break and get into the back or the right side Desert Palace and check those two items. But in standard or open mode, it's not always advisable to do that because it could lock you out of the logic a little bit. That's kind of the short version of that.
Absolutely, it's a risk, and it's one that could add quite a bit of time to it, to anything that you're doing. Meanwhile, both runners are in Village of Outcast. Osse about to enter his Thieves Town proper. oneup looks like he's going to be going into the south route, so oneup might also be possibly getting some money. 20 arrows for 5 rupees, so yeah. He started out with 141, and as long as you make all the shots, you end up with a nice stack of cash here. Yeah, you get about 104 rupees if you nail all of them, is what it looks like. So, yeah, not bad.
And you can tell that they practiced it.
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, coming into this game, this is not something I expected. But you know, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, hey, spend a couple seconds and get 100 rupees for a key. Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah, that's really interesting. As you mentioned, Osse is actually the one that picked retro, so it's very impressive that oneup knew about that and was able to utilize that. Might not have even known that retro was going to be thrown at them.
Yeah, he's keeping it. He wants a stack. It looks like oneup might even be setting himself up for buying a bunch of keys at this point in time. Because again, you know, money management comes down to being able to have enough money to buy your keys and having enough money to buy to have, once you have your bow, to shoot your arrows that you need for the bosses. So there's absolutely a money management aspect to a retro mode game. Because we don't have the bow, you got to think the only thing he's worried about right now is being able to afford a bunch of keys.
Doesn't look like the dig game is being as nice to oneup as it was to Osse. I remember seeing a lot more of those red rupees. Well, okay, there's more. All right.
Yeah, as soon as you said something, the commentator's blessing right there.
There you go. You're welcome. And then finally ending with that 300.
Yeah, and the way to go about to think about retro mode is that it is very different from your normal Link to the Past randomizer. Very different, especially when you take key logic into account, that there is no key logic. But that's not to say it's harder. It's just different. And you have to take some different things into consideration. And there are other randomizers out there that do have more inventory and money management associated than randomization. This incorporates some of that, along with the not having any arrows along with it. It's fun. I really enjoy retro mode, and I think more people should play retro mode because I really enjoy it.
Yeah, essentially, as a community, you know, some folks who have been around a little longer, I guess, for whatever reason, want more and more of these different kinds of variations and inversions of seeds. So we're really starting to see this, you know, kind of open up and really push what a randomized Link to the Past game truly means. But we also have a lot of newcomers to the scene, and I definitely recommend checking out, you know, Open and Standard and getting really familiar with those, because all of these variations at least have parts of that kind of, I guess, more standard kind of randomized mode has. Just play all the randomizer.
Yeah, just play it all. It's all right. Sarah Zelda does ask, are big keys in their own dungeon, or big keys work as well as any dungeon? No, big keys are locked to their dungeon, just like in standard mode. So it's not quite full-on key sanity where the keys are just crazy everywhere. You will absolutely be finding the big key in the dungeon as you expect it to.
Who's handling the scripted blind fight with a bomb? Oh, little damage, but goes in and takes him down.
So oneup looks like he's getting ready. Because he has the lamp in logic, looks like he's going to be making a trek up Death Mountain now, and we'll be doing that Tower of Hera kill that Ose did do earlier. He has not purchased a ton of keys like Ose has. He just farmed up quite a bit of money. So it'll be interesting to see where Ose goes and where oneup goes after he's through, possibly with Tower of Hera, because nothing is really up there.
That's right.
All right, so Ose going to be the first one to show us something new, I hope. While we're kind of waiting for some new action, I do want to give a shout out to our wonderful tracker, Sandres316, as well as our restreamer, Synac. You guys doing all the work behind the scenes, making it possible for us to view this wonderful race. So big shout out to you guys. We get to have the fun here. You guys do the heavy lifting.
Absolutely. Tracking is very stressful. And restreaming too, I would imagine. So thank you guys so much for doing that.
So Ose, actually, I didn't even realize it. He's defeated Tower of Hera and Logic now with having that lamp. Defeated Thieves Town, which is the other 5-6. He's taken the big bomb up for a visit to everyone's favorite fairy.
Good for 2 items, and in a lot of worst case scenarios, does have a bow. So we'll see what happens.
I think this is also his pyramid check, because I don't think he's actually checked the pyramid item either.
No, I don't believe so.
That is the most necessary of all items. What are
he thought about it? You see the hesitation? He definitely thought about it.
You spent more on the bomb than you got from the rupees.
So the net, of course, in addition to being possible to use on Aghanim to bounce back the blue balls, is also honestly very, very good to have if you're a newer player, because it does give you the option to be able to swoop up fairies.
Well, I mean, there's that, but also think about this. We can go get the good bee if we really want to from the ice cave and just farm that up for a bunch of rupees to sell to the old man.
Oh man, you're right. Retro is cool because it makes you think about all these ways that you can make extra money that you normally wouldn't go out of your way to do in a normal scene.
I mean, let's face it, that's the most inefficient way of getting 100 rupees, but someone would do it.
There is a time and a place for everything, my friend.
So Ose committing himself to paying the scammer monkey.
I don't know another way in.
I mean, that's really it's like buying a key. Really, is what that is. 100 rupees to buy your way in.
It's a monkey.
Boo.
What? I just said monkey.
So, normally we would say, because the first item in Palace of Darkness was a heart container, normally we would say it's bow locked, but because we have keys and there's no key logic, it's not bow locked.
Although the two chests that are like the one that he just threw the bomb to, and the one on the other side, we will technically, by logic, need both of those, correct?
Yes, we will need bow logically to get those items. It's not going to be considered a bow locked dungeon because we can get past that particular.
Sure.
I mean, we can't beat Helmasaur without the bow, but we can't say the entire dungeon is bow locked.
A 1-up misses the bomb jump, and that's so brutal because it will throw you down 2 floors.
All the way to the bottom. That's a bit rough, unfortunately.
I'm not brave enough to even try that one because I hate falling to floors like that.
Yeah, I would much rather just fall down. A glove is in plain sight. Gee, thanks. We knew that. These okay. Let's talk about the telepathy tile tips, the TTTs, if you will. What's your thought on them?
On which tiles? I'm sorry.
The telepathy tile tips, the ones the hint tiles.
I have. Oh wow, really nice bomb jump from Osse. That was very cool. I think I need to spend some more time learning the language behind the hints because I got one time that said that boots were hammer locked, and the Ganon's Tower Big Key was on the torch, and at that point there were a lot of places that were hammer locked, but it turns out only certain locations that'll actually apply to. So I think it requires more studying personally. How do you feel about them?
Well, the telepathy tile hints, the hints have to be universal across all modes. So, for example, Turtle Rock, while it is a hammerlock dungeon in regular mode, Osse finds the hook shot, so that's significant there.
That's huge, yeah.
For example, Turtle Rock is a hammerlock dungeon in most modes, but in inverted mode, it's not locked behind the hammer. So anything that says hammer locked will not include Turtle Rock because the hint has to be universal.
Yeah, so in theory, I like them very much, especially when they tell you where something is that you didn't want to go check that's far away, like Graveyard Ledge or, Misery Mire, Torch Room. But sometimes they can be kind of confusing. That definitely will make you think.
And Osse finishes clearing out as much as he can in there, finds a hook shot, so he's got progress at this point in time. It looks like, oh man, Swamp Palace might be a decent play.
That's where I would go, hands down.
I mean, you also have East Death Mountain that's open up to you now, so that I'd consider that as well.
That is true. Yeah, it looks like Osse is going to head down to Swamp Palace.
Oh, and 1UP is doing East Death Mountain. We already had access to East Death Mountain.
Yeah, with the hammer we did. Hammer and the mirror combination.
Yeah, I had forgotten. When Osse went up there, he did not have the hammer, so he was not able to come over here. So 1UP's actually showing us some new stuff here as well.
Speaking of hint tiles, got a new one coming up right here.
A unique item is in the Palace of
Okay,
Darkness.
that's one thing I'll say about hints is a lot of times I find myself saying, great,
Thanks.
thank
Thanks.
you.
The match that I was on commentary for last night, it seemed like it was every hint tile gave us something right as we had just come from that location. Every single time.
Those are great.
All right, so one up so far, not giving us a whole. Okay, best cane.
Okay.
I don't care who you are. Best cane value.
You're a Kane O'Brien man, huh?
Let me tell you something, Sonny. I may have a somewhat legendary seed under my belt where I ran that had a required Burna Bombos fight. Or Burna Bombs fight.
Burna Bombs. I remember it well. I've seen it so many times.
Yeah, so me and the King of Burna have a special relationship.
A bond that I don't think many others could probably truly realize.
No. But enough about me. Back to the match.
Seriously though, people should go find that. It was incredible.
I'm really kind of surprised oneup has not bought his wooden arrows yet.
Yeah, maybe just thinks that it's not worth it without the bow. I mean, I'd rather have it, be prepared, but
Yeah, I mean, I want it myself. Ose, I believe, did get the hint that only the compass and the big key are on the left side of swamp. And so he's banking that there's only one item that could possibly be in the big treasure chest, and he's gonna see if he can skip it.
Yeah, definitely agree with this play.
And yes, Salamanca, it is still just a fighter sword. We have had the runners be checking the one-off caves, the Takeni caves. Have not found that elusive cave that has just a single sword in it yet. So nothing yet. Oh, well, I guess there's...
The second best cane has been discovered.
The second best cane has been discovered. The Cane of Samaria, which unlocks absolutely nothing right at the moment.
And there's the bow.
Okay.
There's
The bow.
Oh.
Now money management becomes even more important.
I can't wait to see this. Yeah, this is going to be great seeing how this works out.
BPCL says red cane is literally the only useful cane in LTTP. Sir, I'm forgive me, I'm presuming your gender here, but sir, clearly you have not seen the time slowdown prowess that is the Cane of Burna.
Yeah, there are definitely some things you can do with it. I wouldn't call it useless, but in terms of progression, definitely get your point.
It's all right. I'm making a big deal. I know it's worthless. I just like being contradictory.
We're just keeping it light. We're just having some fun here.
Yeah, I mean, we got to talk about something while Ose is having to do spin strats on Argus.
Oh yeah, another thing. We have seen a lot of hammer strats on a lot of these enemies since we do only have the fighter sword right now. So that's been interesting to see too. All right, we have Argus down.
Argus is down. More importantly, I mean, we did get pretty significant progression out of Swamp Palace. We got the bow and we got the cane of Samaria. Now, Osse is going to go over here and do the east side of Death Mountain. He's going to be disappointed in what he finds, but we'll be able to do it a little bit faster than oneup did it, at least initially. From here, let's see. Eastern and Pod are kind of what we're waiting on at this point in time because the bow really doesn't unlock anything else. I gotta feel like the Titansmiths is coming up directly in one of those two locations.
The Titansmiths we still need. Not even technically. I mean, we need that flute so that we can go do Mire at some point. So we're still looking for that.
Absolutely. So, in reality, we're at a point where we are a flute and a flute and the gloves, and we're in go mode. This is one of those.
And Fantasia, maybe those boots too.
Maybe. We do know that Desert Palace is not required because it is a pendant, but there is that 1 in 22 chance that the Ganon's Tower Big Key will be on that ledge, on that torch, which would require the bonk. So I like to call that faux mode.
Oh, and we're going to need a better sword. Right? We need to find at least a master sword.
This is true. We need at least a master sword. And, these runners have been checking all the swords. We didn't think, remember, in retro mode, there's only 3 swords that are available within the item pool that you can open from treasure chests. That 4th sword is located in one of the Takeni caves. So, I mean, we can see that playing out right now. The runners have been checking it, still haven't found where it's at. I think that's impacting it right now, though.
Mm-hmm.
So this is one of those interesting seeds. It's been relatively open, except for the part where we don't have the mitts. And the mitts are really unlocking everything at this point in time.
Yeah, I know whenever I'm running around Dark World without my Titansmiths, I'm usually at least once or twice going to try to pick up something that's too heavy for me. Because you're so used to having them at that point,
It's one of those points where you try to pick it up and you're like, oh, I don't even lift, bro.
I don't even lift, bro.
But at this point, it feels like we have to. It's got to be either in Pod or in Eastern Palace. Although, Osse here, half magic, Cane of Berna. I mean, half magic worked with Cape too, so we could have come here a while ago.
Yeah, a long time ago, but still, let's see what we get, huh?
Use my cane, Osse. Use my cane. Yes!
Oh, it's like he heard you. Just some love.
Yeah, not a whole lot of anything. Osse looks like he's setting up to head over. Doesn't have the flute yet, so can't really flute over to that teleporter, but I get the feeling he's setting up to return to Pod and then mirror over and also do Eastern, because both are available, both are crystals. I take it back, Pod is a green pendant, so he might even just do Eastern first.
Are you surprised that we haven't seen anyone, or not anyone, I should say, Osse, because he has the red cane? Are you surprised we didn't see a Turtle Rock check?
I'm not surprised at all that we didn't see a Turtle Rock check, because we need the mitts in order to even get to that part of Death Mountain.
Oh my gosh, how could I forget?
It's alright. Yeah, we all forget sometimes. It's cool.
I was literally just talking about that. You start to take those for granted once you get to the hour mark, because you normally have them by now. So yeah, that's tough.
We do see Osse coming up here. Looks like he's going to be doing a catfish check. We haven't seen a catfish check yet, have we?
I don't think we have. I like this play.
Oh, he's also going to route this in with the mushroom, which we haven't seen.
Also a good play.
The patience that Osse had to wait to come over here, exhaust his options so he can route mushroom check in with catfish. Both checks are kind of out of the way. And if you can wait until you have the flute, it's best. But being able to kind of route these few things together, I think, is incredibly beneficial to overall routing. It shows a discipline and a patience that you don't panic and try to turn in those fetch quests immediately.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's a really good point. There would have been a really strong urge in a lot of players to go check that sooner. But the more stops you can make whenever you're going to a particular part of the map, the faster things are going to be overall. So yeah, really good point.
All right, so oneup is kind of following. We have almost a linear setup at this point in time where we are stuck. Oneup is going to be going here, and then he's going to be kind of following Osse on his trail. So it's pretty linear at this point in time, even though we've opened up everything, because both runners have checked quite a bit in terms of what we have access to, and there.
Das Flute.
I actually am, and I think Osse is also incredibly happy that you found the flute before the mitts, because man, when Titan's Mitts is your go mode item, and that's what Osse is going to be treating it as. He's going to be making the gamble that we're not going to need the boots. When mitts are your go mode item, that means you are going to be able to go mode Ice Palace, Misery Mire, Turtle Rock. He'll have to clear out Eastern Palace at some point, but But you do Eastern, and then you do Pod, and then as soon as you get the mitts, you're in go mode, and you treat it as such. Being able to go mode those last 3 dungeons, especially Ice Palace, that cuts that dungeon time in half.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Meanwhile, if he would have gotten Titan's Mitts instead of the flute, he would have had to full clear Ice Palace.
Yeah.
He could have had to make a trip up to Turtle Rock and then back down. So really, really happy to see the flute instead of the Titan's Mitts.
Yeah, and when you have 3 dungeons that open up like that, do you pick the right one and full clear that one and get its item, or do you end up full clearing all 3 of them until you finally find the final item? So.
Now, the only thing that gives me pause is that we're still rocking Fighter Sword here.
Yeah, so I guess they're probably, like you were saying, it's going to be kind of an assumed go mode because there's still a few different items you can check on your way up where you could find at least one more sword upgrade. So you want to kind of roll the dice on that, knowing that you can always come back and check some more spots if it comes to it.
It's not to mention, you also have Ganon's Tower that could have quite a bit there. And there's another sword right there on the desert ledge.
It was visible all along.
Yeah, I'm similar to chat as like, well, that just happened.
Yeah, that's random.
Yeah, and you can't get that sword without Book of the Mitts, so you can't actually get that sword right now, but hey, as soon as you get the mitts, you know where to go to get a sword. And the interesting thing is, oneup came over here and checked Agina's cave. I don't think he checked that desert ledge.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's always worth taking that little, trip over, that little bow over, because knowledge is power.
Took the words right out of my mouth. Knowledge is absolutely power in this game. Interesting to see that Osse is going right to Eastern instead of taking a trip through the Dark World first. So if it's not in Eastern, he's going to have to come back down here and go into Pod. That's the only other location that he does not yet have access to. He's making the play that the mitts are going to be here in Eastern Palace.
And if I'm not mistaken, we already know all 3 items in this dungeon, and none of them are a lift upgrade.
Absolutely. And for Robin Hood, the question is, has Osse already gotten his arrows? Yes. You do see the arrow icon where your arrows are normally sorted and stored is visible on Osse's screen. Meanwhile, on oneup screen, it's not there. So we can tell that oneup has not yet bought his arrows. I got to imagine now that he has the bow, he's going to go buy them relatively quickly.
Yeah, I'm with you though. It seems strange to not just pick them up as soon as you see them and you've got the cash.
I know I do when I do it, and it's worthwhile for me to be able to do so. But not everyone, if you're not comfortable, especially if you're worried you're gonna have to buy a whole lot more keys, maybe.
Yeah, that's fair. We'll have to ask him about it. Hopefully, if we can do an interview at the end here.
Man, this Igor is giving Osse some heckin' heck.
Yeah, I was wondering, all those times where the sprite would start to draw the bow back but not get the arrow out, if that was going to cost 10 each, but it did not. Fortunately.
Yeah, so, okay, we're sitting at 829 rupees. We're getting ready to have to fire a lot of arrows. Okay, he's still firing arrows off.
So we got 4 more in this room, and then with perfect execution, we have 18 in the next one, so 180 rupees.
So he's at 755. We'll see. How much money does it cost to defeat Armos Knights? Oh, he's using Berna! Who says Berna is useless?
Holy cow.
Deal with it! Yeah!
Wow.
Oh man. That was pretty effective. I mean, it didn't cost too much time, and you saved yourself 100 and some odd 80 rupees.
It's funny too because they have enough to where they probably could have just went ahead and done it the normal way, but I could not be happier with what I just saw.
Oh, I am ecstatic right now. I'm cheesing hard right now. I feel vindicated. Oh, Freddy Triangle. I have to quote you there because that is amazing. The naysayers just got burned.
Okay, I saw some booze after some of my puns, and I'm feeling a little bit of injustice right now.
That's fair. That's fair. That's a fair reaction. Okay, so O's coming up here. It looks like he's setting up to do Skull Woods, although I'm curious because Skull Woods is a pendant.
Yeah, it's too bad we don't have the book. We could maybe check Ped just to be safe.
I don't know if we ever check just to be safe. I don't know. I mean, wait, do we have the book? We don't have the book, do we?
No, that's what I'm saying. I wish somebody had one. We could get a quick check. Yeah, we have no idea what's on that as of right now. It couldn't be the Titan's Mitts, could it?
Actually, it could. I mean, here's the thing. All we need is access to Desert Palace, and all we need is the book for that. So if we find the book, then the Titan's Mitts could absolutely be on Desert Palace, because we have full clear access to Skull Woods, Palace of Darkness, and Desert Palace. Question in chat: did Osse do pod? He cleared the first part of pod. He hasn't gone back after getting the bow lock portion.
Yes, because I believe the big key was in one of those bow lock chests.
Yep. It seems both runners are feeling like Mothula is the answer, and I don't know why. We have Palace. I mean, I would rather do Palace of Darkness for the bow lock areas, and then have to do Fighter Sword Mothula, Fighter Sword Hammer Mothula, rather.
Yeah, well, he made it look easy. It was just the shield. I mean, to be fair, the second item was there, and we had to, figure out what that was going to be. It turns out it wasn't anything too helpful. And we got the pendant in case we get into one of those nightmares. Or I'm sorry, yeah, we got the pendant in case we get into one of those nightmare situations where we do have to pull that ped.
We also, oneup is also on it, and he got half magic as well, so with Fire Rod, it's not nearly as punishing, and he does get through it as well.
Yeah, they both did it very, very well. No problems there.
All right, so yeah, here we go. We're gonna clear out Palace of Darkness now. Now, keep in mind, it's got to be here or on the pedestal. Again, unless this is a fetch quest that leads us to it.
Yeah, there are some items that could open things up a bit more, but yeah, you're exactly right. We're pretty much out of places to check other than that.
I mean, Boots would unlock a couple locations. Book would unlock absolutely nothing because we don't have a Master Sword. Although,
well, there's a second item in Desert Palace.
Well, the ledge item doesn't count as an item for Desert Palace. So there's two items in Desert Palace himself.
Yeah, true. Good point.
So here's what I'm trying to think of, and I need some help from some of the logic experts in chat. Is the sword that is locked in the take any room part of the logic in terms of being able to use the book on the tablets?
That is a really good question.
And yeah, chat pointing out it's 3 items because the keys, we take away the key items. Or the keys, you know what I mean. Boots!
Okay, so the big key wasn't in there, but we did have boots.
Man, okay, so now we're committed to going over here and doing Helmasaur King, which do we have a pedestal seed? Are we gonna get a pedestal seed?
This might be a pedestal seed.
I gotta tell you, I'm a little bit excited because one, not only do we have the first ever broadcast in this tournament retro mode race, those people who have known the community and been around a while know I've commentated a few seeds.
Sure, yeah, you're a vet.
Yeah, I've been around. I've done a grand total of 2 pedestal seeds ever.
Oh wow.
I'm getting a little bit excited here.
Yeah, well, it looks like there's reason to be. Because the possibility of this being a ped seed has become stronger and stronger the longer we go without seeing those mitts. Yeah.
Now we do still need the book for Desert Palace, though, so it's worth noting we can't get too excited yet. But if we find the book, man, I'm gonna get hyped.
I think we're at alert level like orange.
are we comparing, you know, pedestal alert to terror alerts from Department of Homeland Security?
I mean, there are a
We're
lot
at
of
threat level orange.
Yeah, there are a lot of systems that use colors, but essentially, yes. So we see another strat to try to conserve arrows on Osse's screen as he takes out Helmsor King with the hammer there.
Yep, just another big 20. So, okay, he gets the green pendant, so Shamalama Ding Dong might have something here as well.
It's very close to go check that, too, so we'll be finding out pretty soon, it looks like. Oh, well, no, probably we'll see Eastern first, actually. Or did we already see that? Okay, all right.
Yeah,
here's our
he's
check.
already on Eastern, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Remember, because we had that amazing Berna...
Oh, yeah, how can I possibly forget?
oneup finds his flute. Sahasrara just giving us the fire shield.
Head lives on for now.
The dream is alive, but still mostly dead. So, I mean, we have these two checks. We have King's Tomb and Bonk Rocks. That's kind of all we can open right now, right?
Mm-hmm. We also have King's Tomb open, but we can't get in the conventional way. That's kind of annoying.
Yeah, we have to go the long way to King's Tomb. So King's Tomb is going to tell us what we have to do next. If it's the book, we have to go to Desert. If it's the myths, we're in go mode. That's all it can be, right? Like, it has to be either the book or the myths.
I believe so. I can't think of anything else.
So Osse is heading that direction. oneup, meanwhile, unlocks his flute, and he is going right over to do the pod at Eastern play. Both runners have plenty of rupees at this point in time.
Yeah, I'd like to think that we're essentially kind of past having to be too concerned about that, which has got to be a relief. Oneup's also going to collect the boots here, which will be nice.
Yeah, that's one of the annoying things for those of us who like to speedrun. When you can't go fast, it's kind of annoying.
Oh, I know. It's the worst.
Yeah, final pendant is in Desert Palace. So, okay, what's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? Get your guesses in, chat. Are we gonna have book or myths? What?
I guess we forgot something.
Yeah. Oh, I know what we forgot.
What?
We forgot the big chest in Swamp Palace.
Oh.
The big chest where we got the hint where the big key and the compass are on left side Swamp Palace. So Osse said, no, I'm going to skip that. There's no reason to do that.
That has to be it. Oh, what a pain in the keister to have to do this again.
Yeah, this is... Osse... Okay, here's the thing. I bet Osse feels terrible about this. He's got to think he's far behind. But oneup, you know, not to take anything away from Osse, or oneup, but he just hasn't quite had the execution. He's taken a couple deaths. So... Osse feels like he's probably super behind, but because of the linearity of the seed, he's in a great spot. Oh man.
Now, the exact same thing that you just said still applies right here, though. This is got to be one of two things. This is either going to be our Titan Smiths or it's going to be the book.
Okay, guys, now get your guesses in chat.
Now get your guesses in.
Titan-Smith's books, or I'm being an idiot and I forgot something else again.
Or something else that we'll realize here in a moment.
And we have to do Left Side Swamp for this. Oh,
Love it. BPCL, we actually already found the net. I can't remember where it was, but it was somewhere where our runners opted not to get it. That's right. Net's on Pyramid. Thank you to Sandra316, 316, S. Andres.
that's our tracker.
Thank you.
Sandres 316. Thank you so much again for tracking, buddy. You've done so much good for us. I love being able to look down and know, oh hey, our tracker's on top of things.
Absolutely.
Oh, did he flood the key? Yeah, I think he flooded the key just because.
Yeah, I forgot to consider retro in terms of finding the key and how it may or may not be a big deal at all when you're in retro. It's kind of funny.
It's worth the 100 rupes at this point. Here's the key. He's not going to the other side. He's like, I know that's a compass.
Okay, is this go mode or does the search continue?
I'm rooting for Book. I am really rooting for
I gotta
Book.
be honest, I am too.
Oh! There!
Yeah.
That's our go mode, ladies and gentlemen.
1 hour, 26 minutes, and about 43 seconds or so.
I'm a little sad, but let's be honest. I'm not over. Well, no, I'm sad. I get wound up so much.
Well, I know the runners are going to be excited to be able to go mode all three of those final dungeons, like you were saying.
Well, yeah, and here's the thing. Both runners skipped that because of that hint. Both runners skipped Left Side Swamp, so they're both going to have to go back and make this trek. That's Left Side Swamp trolls again.
Yeah, it was a hidden troll too, because that big key being the same item, you're like, oh well, you don't need the big key to finish from Palace, so I guess I could just ignore that, not knowing that it actually hid the linchpin of this entire seed that broke it wide open and brought us into mode.
Yeah, we saw Osse go and check kind of the gimme treasure chest in the shed. I don't think he's going to be checking anything else that isn't absolutely required. If he picks up another sword, great. In fact, I'm sure he's hoping for it because we're still staring down a Master Sword Silverless Ganon at this point in time. But if that's what the seed demands, so be it.
Yeah, so out of the dungeons Osse has left to do, what sort of item checks would you personally make some time to go check and looking for maybe like a sword upgrade?
Well, here's the thing. I think it depends on the runner. I will say this. If I'm Osse, I'm feeling super behind because of that Left Side Swamp issue, which means I'm probably skipping even more treasure chests than I would normally check. Like, you have to get the big key for Misery Mire, you have to get the big key for Turtle Rock, but you are otherwise skipping anything that you can possibly skip. So as soon as you get the big key, you're done, and you're just running straight through. Especially in Ice Palace, you're not checking anything, I don't think. You just go.
Absolutely not.
So yeah, you kind of hope for that, and you really hope for a deep big key in Ganon's Tower, so that you can increase your odds of getting something there.
Riot Shield.
Yeah, it's worth noting there are a ton of keys normally in Misery Mire, which means there's a lot more items in Misery Mire than we're normally accustomed to. So we might find quite a few items here.
oneup is making the play to go get the big chest in Swamp, which is good.
Oh, that's a solid play, and it feels like it's a lot sooner than Osse did, honestly.
Yeah, we could see a situation here where, if oneup does find a tempered and Osse does not, they could slowly gain time throughout Ganon's tower.
oneup hasn't done Eastern Palace yet, then, has he?
Oh, well, not according to the tracker. No, that's a good point. They're going to have to make time for that, too.
At this point, if I'm Osse, you're already on this side of the dungeon. I might even check the big treasure chest.
I would. Hey, there it is.
Yeah, okay, never mind. I'm done.
So much for that speculation.
Oh, and it would have been a quote-unquote godmire otherwise. The first treasure chest that most runners end up checking in normal mode is this treasure chest that Osse is about to pick up right now. It's the last one that he picked up in his routing because he was doing some key preservation. This would have been a very fast mire had he gone that route. Oh, are you?
Uh-oh.
Is he?
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Is he? Oh. Hey, you got farther than I did. It was a nice number attempt, yeah.
I love that. I love that hesitation. He just kind of stared at it for a second, like he's like, okay, here we go.
You do have to kind of hype yourself up a little bit.
Totally.
Like, okay, here am I going to do? oneup did not get the hint. He's getting that compass over here.
So that was an example of a hint that saved, 5 or 6 seconds, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it was a worthwhile hint, all things said. And yeah, I mean, okay, to address chat, yes. I always like to get hyped for hovers because it's the most difficult thing to do in Randomizer, I think, honestly, is to do that kind of hovering because it's just not easy and there's only a handful of people to do. So I always try to hype up whenever people that I haven't seen hover can hover. Like I just go for it because I love seeing that. Oh, it looks like, yeah, he's trying to do spin strats right now.
Yeah, I was wondering what sort of strats we would see. As you mentioned, using the arrows can be very expensive right there.
Yeah, no point to use the arrows whatsoever. I think the NMG strat is actually at this point in time to use those sort of spin strats.
It definitely feels pretty safe to do that. I mean, you can't be damaged while that's going on, so that's definitely nice.
Meanwhile, oneup he's still on his fighter sword. I don't know if he even checked that master sword that's on the ledge. He's checking checkerboard cave over here, though.
Well, as of right now, as you mentioned, that the final sword upgrade is actually going to be in one of those grab any caves. So we've actually accounted for all of the sword upgrades that we're going to find in our item pool.
And oneup is avoiding that desert ledge sword upgrade. I don't know if he ever checked it. That would be a heartbreaker if he did. or if he didn't, knowing that there's a sword upgrade right there. And let me tell you, the difference between fighter sword and master sword in a dungeon like Misery Mire is immense.
Tremendous. Yeah, absolutely. It's a game changer.
Even if he picks up the sword that's in here, that's the difference between mastered and temper, which is, again, a significant difference.
Yeah, I think the jump from fighters to master probably is a little more significant, but they're both huge.
All right, so here we see Osse over here, now entering Ice Palace. This is going to be a pretty fast Ice Palace, and Osse is definitely a quality runner. We're going to see a super fast Ice Palace. Oh no, and oneup is going, he's getting the big key. Will he just go straight to the back? I mean, he could make up some time there, but man, that sword differential.
Oh, it looks like he's going to keep looking.
Yeah, and he's done. He got that master sword. He's like, I'm good. So
okay, well that's going to make up some time for sure. Interesting that both of our runners are still on green now.
Yeah, that does make it a little bit difficult, doesn't it?
Sure does.
Yeah, and I think this speaks a little bit to the quality of competition that we have. I don't know about you, Temp, but I would absolutely be super nervous running around in green mail without silver arrows. I've only done silverless Ganon a handful of times off the top of my head that I can remember. I would be checking a few more treasure chests, but these runners have all the confidence. They're just going for it. oneup is even looking like he's committing himself almost to Master Sword Silverless, which is crazy.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I like my tempered sword, and I like my blue and red mails, and yeah, I would still probably be going out of my way. I probably would have checked the first chest here in Ice Palace if I was Osse, maybe try and find that. But like you said, the quality of these runners, you know, we all kind of have two go modes, right? We have our item go mode and our comfortability, you know, am I going to die on Ganon go mode? And the go mode for both these runners is very low. And oneup using some bomb strats here on Vitreous, which is pretty cool to see too.
Bomberman Vitreous, this is where it's at. It's very fun. Oh man, and now he's spending a fortune because he's like, I got to save one bomb.
I at least got to you know, soften him up a little bit with the bombs first. Stepping into I would say a challenging cold stare fight, just again because of the mail that we've got here, but shouldn't give him any problems.
Got him back into the corner. Escaped, but still mostly dead. Only 3 hearts though, so anything can kill him. He clutches it out though.
Well done.
And congratulations, you can shoot 2 more arrows. Hempuli asks in chat, how different is retro mode routing? Is it more gameplay difference, or is it a whole different beast entirely? Routing is less difficult, honestly, because especially in dungeons, there's no key logic, so you just kind of get your keys and go. It's more about your money management and managing that, and so, you know, knowing is now a good time to go and do Zora, for example. Do I really want to spend the 500 rupees necessary? Because those rupees, rupees are your arrows and your keys, and you just have to think of it that way. Rupees are extremely valuable, so it's always about money management. Routing, I wouldn't say it's a whole lot different, other than knowing that the logic will always think you have the keys necessary to complete a dungeon.
Yeah, and we have actually seen a couple of new locations that we don't normally see in standard runs in an effort to get more rupees, such as the Target game in South Dark Village or Village of Outcasts. So there are a few more stops to try to get money, and then there are also the addition of these take any caves, which we're seeing our runners, route in a few of those as well.
Yeah, those take any caves are kind of an interesting wrinkle to it. I don't think we're going to see any more take any caves from Osse. He's perfectly fine with his heart count. You could get either heart containers, full refill, or in one of the take any caves will be one of the sword upgrades. They checked some things early, haven't really seen much checking after that, just out of convenience. I think at that point they were checking what was nearby just in case.
Yep, and we don't have hint caves per se, but we do have hint tiles, and those are actually in every version of V30 seeds. There's an example of one on O's screen right now over to the left. Those are going to contain some hints that tell us some of the lesser checked item locations and some of the items. There's a chance we might see hints about where those could be in the world.
And here we see Osse entering Turtle Rock. He's going to go for the big key and then get out of here. oneup is actually, he got the big key, so it tells me that oneup is going to be full clearing this. He wants another sword upgrade or the silvers or something. Man, I feel bad. Not checking that one location is going to end up costing oneup quite a bit of time. Maybe not necessarily in his execution per se, but in the routing. Full clearing Ice Palace is a huge time sink.
Absolutely. I think it's one of those things where oneup will probably never forget to check that ledge ever again after this. Or maybe there's something else going on, and we'll be excited to talk to him about it after the season's over. And there's all silvers.
Hey, 50 rupees a shot. We have 10 silver arrows, or 11 silver arrows for Osse. Yeah, 50 rupees for a silver arrow. Don't waste your rupees, but he's got the budget to do it.
Seeing some slashes from Osse, do you think those were frustration-based or just boredom-based?
I think knowing that the left side swamp troll really hit him hard, I think he is in a position where every second counts, so he's getting frustrated a little bit. Even though we know he's in a good spot, he doesn't know that. So I think that was a hurry up sort of slash.
Yeah, I think you're right. DH Stom in chat does make a good point. You can switch your arrows back and forth. You can actually do that in any randomizer seed with Y once you get silvers. It's just that normally there's no reason to not use silvers once you find them, but here there's that high cost associated with them, so it could make sense to actually switch back to standard arrows if you're concerned about your rupee and or key count.
And there's the big key in its vanilla location there. Worth noting, oneup still hasn't done Eastern Palace, so even though he looks like he's pretty close behind, he's still got to go and do Eastern Palace before claiming Turtle Rock.
I hate that. I almost wish we could just spot him that. Say, all right, well, let's just pretend like you did it and keep going from here and see how close it'll be. Just absolutely burning through Cold Stare there with Fire Rod.
Yeah, very good fight from oneup there. Going through right on Osse's tail after he gets through Eastern Palace. It's going to be, in go mode, we can say definitively that I think Osse is ahead at this point in time, but oneup's made a game of it. He did not just hand this away to Osse. It's been very close all the way through.
Absolutely. You could see that the homework had been done. All of the quirks that come along with playing retro as opposed to a normal seed, step for step with Osse, even though Osse was the one that did choose this variation. So really great show from both runners. And not over yet either. Who knows what could happen?
No, not over in a long place. It's not over until the Fat Fairy sings, as they say. All right,
I love that king dash.
Oh yeah, it's always exciting when you can pull off that king dash and you feel good about it.
Mhm.
All right, so Osse is doing backdoor strats here on wonderful Trinex, although did not get the quick kill. We have the ice head made a mess on the floor.
Hate when that happens.
But man, that was flawless in terms of that last final phase for Trinex. Okay, so we're getting the final item from Trinex, and it's a heart container of all things, and our 7th and final crystal. Tim, you know what that means, sir.
I sure do. It means that it's time to play the Ganon's Tower Big Key guessing game.
Absolutely, we're not doing contest at this point. But there are 22 treasure chests in Ganon's Tower that can possibly contain the Ganon's Tower Big Key. The vets are already doing it. They're getting their guesses here in chat, 1 through 22. Tim, what's your guess?
Today, I am going to go with 11. What about you?
You know, it's a new tournament. Last night was a Key Sanity, so we didn't have the Big Key guessing game. New tournament, new numbers. I'm going to start fresh with lucky number 9 for me.
Okay.
Oh man, OneUp's about out of money.
Uh-oh.
Oh, he burned through his entire stack of cash. He's got 8 rupees left.
Hey, there's that blue mail. Look at that electric blue on that tingle sprite. That's pretty crazy.
That's a nice tingle. All right, so we're 3 in.
Another nice thing about Retro having all these keys left over is you're not going to have to worry about getting bit in the butt by maybe finding an early big key and then running up Ganon's Tower only to find you don't have enough keys to make it through to the end.
Yeah, you should know your key situation before you even come in here. Now, there's a possibility of keys being in here, but why risk it?
Exactly. So we're up to 7 so far. Yeah, there's a key right there.
Oh, he's using red meringue. Ooh.
Ooh.
Normally I'm seeing the blue meringue being used, but man, O's pulling out some red meringue strat, showing those
I like it.
meringue elitists what's up.
I'm very into that. I prefer red myself.
Number 9, just a heart piece.
Okay, so there's still hope for Team Comms. We could get 11, and then we can split the win. There you go.
Is that 11?
It sure was.
First time commentator, first time win. GG, Tim.
Thank you so much. I actually have to say there are a couple of secondary tournaments that I've watched and commed, and I've done 2 of those, and in both of those, I was correct as well. So that's 3 times now.
3 times in a row?
3 times in a row, my only 3 times commentating.
You, sir, are a witch, and we must burn you.
I'm trying to be cool right now, but inside I am, like, jumping up and down. I can't believe it. Yeah, it's all downhill from here. Thank you, Whiplash.
All right. Meanwhile, Osse is in doing his gauntlet.
All right, and Osse making their way through the gauntlet here. Great execution and RNG so far. Having to do 2 laps around this room, but still very good.
Yeah, I'd rather do laps around that room than, get stuck in it for eternity. What it feels like.
Start trying to go against the treadmill. Yeah, no thanks. Not surprised to see the fire sword strats here again, trying to conserve money for the silver arrows.
Tadaru asks a question in chat: is it always 20s on bush crabs in retro? No, it's not supposed to be. I mean, I see it probably more frequently myself, but eh.
Merely a coincidence?
I mean, that just means you have the best retro luck ever, and you need to use it in every one of your tournaments. Know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
All right. oneup still working his way through Turtle Rock here, although going relatively quick. oneup is still checking. Okay, no, he's bypassing. I think he's committed at this point in time. He's like, I have the silvers now. I can go ahead and do Ganon. I don't have to worry about getting another sword, which is good because we know where the last sword is oneup, unfortunately.
Yeah, I wonder if he was maybe thinking about the big chest and how sometimes that has a key, which in normal logic you might need to grab that, and remember that he's got plenty of keys and doesn't have to worry about that.
Got to keep in mind, he also only has 8 rupees, so he's got to get some rupees before he gets over here to Ganon's tower eventually, unless he's going to farm up some rupees. Oh, onup's in a dangerous spot right now with his rupees. Unless he picks up the big 300 that Moldorm is holding.
That was pretty good.
Literally. I commentator curse myself so much.
Well, actually, Vitasia, I'm curious to hear what... It seemed like there were plenty of rupees for all the silver arrows they're going to need to be shooting, so what was the significance getting in that 300 right there?
Well, because oneup only has 28 rupees presently. So I'm looking... Osse will be fine. Osse will be set.
Oh, I see. You're saying for when oneup gets there.
Well, for when oneup gets there.
I gotcha. Okay. Oh, and a triple.
And hey, that 300 rupees, it's better than silvers. It's 6 silver arrows. So Osse defeats Agatu. Yeah, that was a quick Agatu fight, and he is on his way to Mr. Blue Bacon himself. Cheese facts.
I appreciate a good cheese fact every now and then.
Oh, set up very nicely for spins right here up against the wall in this particular corner.
Yeah, that went great.
Let's face it, Ganon is probably the one fight that all of us in the community practice more than anything else, so we're always surprised if something goes wrong because we're so used to it just going smooth. We've all practiced it so much.
That's very true. I guess I'm surprised. I'm always interested to see the strats used. You can kind of see somebody's skill level and comfortability by the strats that they use and what they feel like they can get away with and often do get away with. For instance, back in the corner there, I probably would have got my magic cape on and just slapped away. But for Osse, not necessary.
Nope, and right there on the edge. Final silver arrow shot. And he's wasting all the rupees now.
I like it.
And if he can cross this bridge, I don't know, it's the most difficult part of the whole game.
Okay, nailed it.
Oh, he gets through.
All right.
GG to Osse, finishing in first place with a time of 1:55.40. GG to Osse101. Let's see if we can get him in here for a chat in our post-race interview. I have some questions. And joining us now is Osse. GG, sir.
GG.
So I have many questions for you. First of all, because it's near and dear to my heart, that swaggy Berna Armos Knight skill.
Yeah, so that's something, I think I picked it up after playing Swordless a bit, but in Retro, it's also a great way to save money.
Absolutely, yeah. It was very. We were sitting there calculating how much it was going to cost you to finish Armos off with the bow and speculating on that, and then all of a sudden you get the Cane of Brian out, and we're all like, "Oh, okay, cool."
Yeah, there's a number of bosses that get really expensive if you try to kill them with the bow, like Vitreous and Armos.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me, what made you pick Retro mode? You were the higher seed, so this was your pick of this particular contest. What opted you to decide to go ahead and do Retro mode?
So Retro mode is a mode that I first played in preparation for the tournament because it was one of the options. And I found that I actually liked it a lot. It's kind of like Key Sanity, but a little less random. It's just the small keys that are taken out of dungeons. So it puts more value on the key-heavy dungeons. So I like the mode a lot, and I also figured that it's one of the less played modes. So I'd get some wins off of people not having practiced it as much.
Absolutely. And speaking of that, so some of the routing that you were doing, you could tell was very specific to Retro. For instance, going to the target game south of Village of Outcasts and farming for rupees there. How much of that was you kind of using your own knowledge of the game to find those high intensity rupee spots, and how much of it was watching others who've done it, kind of generating it that way?
I'm not sure I've seen anyone else play a Retro Seed, actually. But the archery game is something I picked up from playing inverted mode. It's a way to get early money, and it's pretty fast.
Yeah, we saw. oneup actually did it too. So being able to generate, I think it was 104 rupees just almost immediately is very, very nice.
Yeah, there's actually you have to farm rubies a little harder in an all dungeons version of Retro, because you just need more keys to get through everything.
Mm-hmm.
So how far behind did you feel when, after you cleared everything out and realized you had to go back to Swamp Palace to do the big treasure chest, which you had skipped? You had the hint that it was only the compass and the big key on the left side of Swamp, so you took the gamble, skipped the big treasure chest. knowing that that was progression, you know, what was that feeling like initially?
I just figured I was done. I needed oneup to have made an equally big mistake for me to be ahead.
Well, he did. I mean, I wouldn't. It was you both made the same play, and I think logically it was the play because you both got the hint that said, "Hey, left side swamp is only the big key in the compass. Don't bother with it." It had so much other value in Swamp Palace with not only the bow but the King of Samaria. So, I mean, I would have been in the same position as you guys, and I'm a big left side advocate.
Yeah, like I could even like guess that he might go for the same gamble, which it turns out he did.
Before that, how were you feeling in the race? It felt pretty linear there for the last hour or so, I would say. But how were you feeling throughout most of it?
I was feeling kind of bad about Zora having the hammer, because I only had 2 or 3 checks after that.
Yeah, Vitasia brought up the point that in retro, you know, having to dip 500 rupees into just getting one item is a pretty big ask, but you know, sometimes it's going to end up being worth it, like it was this time.
Yeah, you want to try to set up a reset for Zora, and so I had that, but then I needed to invest the money anyway.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
And the hookshot location, I think, put me in a good spot. So I was feeling pretty good up until I realized I needed to go back to Swamp.
Was there anything else that stood out to you about this seed in terms of, you know, things that it gave you or execution or any kind of thoughts like that?
Oh, so from the look of the seed, it felt like just a bad retro seed. The big key placements in the dungeons were for like a regular route that you'd take for it. Like not if you came in with a small key. So like I couldn't skip most of Turtle Rock or Mire. It had small keys in like vanilla locations, so in case you forgot to bring small keys, it'd give you some. And the extra 300 at the end were just to give you enough rubies for silvers for Ganon.
Yeah, which oneup is going to need, actually, so I imagine they'll check that, but yeah.
Yeah, so I think the seed kind of mitigated my advantage in retro knowledge, if I had one.
I mean, it was fun because I think this was the first exposure to that a lot of people in the community got to retro mode, at least from based on what we were seeing in chat. We had some folks who this is the first retro seed of the tournament that's been broadcast, so it was their first exposure to it, and I think you guys really highlighted what makes retro different. So, I mean, well played either way there.
Did oneup find any take-inies?
He did. I think in where the arrow shop is in the light world, there was a take any there, but did not find the sword.
Yeah. After the credits roll, I look around for the take-inies, and I do find the sword. But it was just kind of sad to do all those extra checks and not find anything, especially to the viewers.
Well, the take-inies are one of those interesting things because it's possible in retro mode to get up to 20 hearts relatively easy if you do the take-inies. It just wasn't in the cards for this one. Nothing was really readily accessible, and we did see you guys make the checks quite a bit.
So where was that take-any sword? You said you went back and found it after?
Yeah, it's at the temple in front of Pod.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the early checks, what you're looking for is the sword. Like, extra hearts don't matter on normal. In hard, they're a little more useful.
Sure. Well, it's all just about your, execution and comfortability with the game. But, obviously, I think both you guys are pretty much right there at the top. So not a concern at all.
Well, One Up is on his Aga 2 fight and about to start his Ganon. Did you have any final thoughts before we try to wrap things up and focus on him for this final part?
Not really.
Fair enough. Osse101, everyone. Give him a follow here on Twitch if you haven't already. Gonna make some noise in the tournament, I think. Well played, sir. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Well,
Good night.
All right, and One Up is on his way to the Blue Baconator himself. Can Burger King sponsor us? Can I say Blue Baconator?
yeah, I'll see what I can do about that.
All right, get on that. Awesome. We'll make it happen.
Okay, sounds good. I mean, he's already talking about cheese acts. You know, it's going to be a really great fit in terms of partnership.
I think so. Yeah.
Cheese and bacon, both right there.
So One Up did end up picking up the 300 rupees from Moldorm and did get bailed out. He had very few rupees, not enough to get through Ganon.
I wish I could have heard that sigh of relief. Yeah.
Is Baconator Wendy's? Okay, so cancel that request to Burger King and get on Wendy's.
No, I already sent the email. Sorry. Well, maybe we can, we can try to compete with Wendy's Baconator. We'll bring this to Burger King as sort of a competition.
Yeah, okay, Baconator or Bacon King, which is what Burger King apparently has. Okay, I'm down. We'll get a bid war going. And now I'm just hungry. One Up is on phase 3 in the meantime.
Yeah, see, right there, I probably would have used my Magic Cape to just ensure that that's only going to be a one cycle no matter what.
Hey, I mean, on the final phase now, I mean, this is doing very well here. He's just getting ready for it. Really, for Master Sword, pretty decent first few phases here. And then he's got the Silver Arrow, so no big deal for the rest of the fight.
Yep. Ooh, look out.
Man, that's always a little bit nerve-wracking there.
Yeah, even if you have, almost all your magic, all your hearts, plenty of safeties, doesn't matter what sort of items you have, you can always fall down that little pit.
He's trying to get a good lineup. He only has a couple shots left. Oh, there it is.
There it is.
Hey, thank you, Michael K, for the bits. 500 there. Bacon, order 2 Bacon Kings. GG One Up crosses that bridge. Finishes with an official time of 2:08:39. GG One Up. We'll see if we can't get him in here for a chat.
GG One Up.
Yeah, and that's, ladies and gentlemen, and other folks, that is retro mode. That was the first retro mode that we got to see.
Yeah, like you said, a really nice showing, I think.
Yeah, I think it's doing quite well. I mean, it showcased it. It had a little bit of the take any rooms, really, especially there at the end with oneup with his rupee situation, and how many rupees it can really cost you to do Vitreous. Osse ended up showing us some good money saving techniques.
Yeah, that's true. We didn't get to see all of the take any rooms, and we didn't get to see that one with the sword in it. But I think we talked about it enough to at least kind of give people an idea.
Absolutely. oneup is in the chat room. oneup, are you able to join us in chat commentary, or you don't have a mic? Okay. He just said he does not have a mic, so that's perfectly fine. oneup, you did amazing. I hope you have fun going through and watching this restream. I think you made a lot of the same plays that Osse made, just a couple slower fights, a couple deaths. That rupee count had us super nervous there for a while. But man, it was a very close race. I think you're going to, shoot yourself in the foot when you realize that your third sword was on the desert ledge that you just never checked.
Yeah, but we've all done it. But yeah, really great showing of retro, and especially knowing, we mentioned this a few times. Osse was the one who chose this, and you sort of had to react to that. And I thought you did a really great job, not really having any other runs to watch to sort of prepare for this either. Very good.
Yeah, very well done by both Osse101 and oneup. So many ones. Give them a follow here. A lot of O's. Give them a follow here on Twitch to support them and what they do. Also, a big shout out to Sandras316 doing our tracking, Synac for the restream. Do want to keep you guys informed of everything else that's going on right now over on Speed Gaming 4. We have Weighty Words versus Asmati Games. That is a standard hard mode, all dungeons run. So go ahead and that should be a fun one. Later tonight at 9:30, we have an all dungeons open Uncle Assured hard mode Randomizer on Speed Gaming 3. That's going on at 9:30 on. Also at 9:30 on Speed Gaming 5, we have an all dungeons standard randomized normal. Just your standard go of it. So you can do super crazy hard mode Randomizer all dungeons, or you can do standard. One of the two.
There's something for everybody, in this tournament, which is great.
Absolutely, and that's the beauty of this tournament. There, we have so many different flag sets and modes that we can do. It's just a blast, and I love this format. I do also want to give a shout out to the man, the myth, the legend, first-time commentator, Temp. Man, it's been a pleasure commentating with you, sir.
Absolutely, it's been a blast, and Vitasia is legend around these parts, and it was really a pleasure having my first time be alongside you. So thanks very much.
Well, I try to be easy on my first timers because I know it can be a little bit rough, but as long as you had a good time.
Absolutely.
This could go down a rabbit hole real quick. So that's sign off real quick.
Yep.
Have a great one, everyone. Please tune in to your other ALTTP randomizer channels, also Speed Gaming 1 through 6. We'll see you guys at the next race.
Thanks, guys. See ya.